What is up, everybody? Den and Chin for the win is finally back here to chat some NXT. It is Tuesday, August 20th. Just a friendly reminder, we weren't here last week because I was gone at the Jackpot premiere for John Cena's movie. If you guys haven't seen the content that I posted up from that, check it out. It's up on the YouTube channel, but I did have a good excuse as to why I was gone. But we're back and we're here to talk some NXT. Chindedu, what is up, man?
First of all, so happy to be here, Denise. And secondly, we all do not mind missing last week's episode of NXT. Denise was at a John Cena premiere, a great interview with him, which is up right now, a question with him, and also a great, funny interview with Fluffy. I love Fluffy. It's on there right now, too. The episode of NXT was boring as fuck anyway last week. It was a piece of shit anyway. We didn't miss anything, guys. The piece of shit episode, man.
That's always my fear. Like, I hardly miss shows, right? For the most part, I have a pretty good track record. Every now and then I'll miss a few shows, whatever. But my biggest fear is missing a really great show. For anything like AEW, WWE, whenever I have to miss something, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be the show where like something crazy happens and I didn't tune in or something. That's always my biggest fear. And then I read the results, Chinedu, afterwards, and I was like, oh my God. Last week's episode of NXT was the most anti-Denise episode ever. And the reason I say that is because we saw Chase U become the new tag team champions. And then there was something else that happened. I don't even remember what it was. Was it Charlie Dempsey? Was it him winning the NXT Heritage Cup? I saw that too, and I was like, what? I was like, these are our new champs. What? It was really those two things that I saw where I was like, you know what? I'm okay with missing last week's episode.
I literally watched the episode, and as soon as it was over, I literally said out loud, Denise would have hated this shit. Like, she would have hated this whole episode. She would have hated this whole episode.
You know, it makes me happy that you thought of me, and I hope the people here thought of me, because I think at this point everybody knows what I like and what I don't like, what floats my boat and what doesn't, right? And so anyways, whatever, we're back, we're gonna have a good time. But Chindedu, I missed you, man. It feels weird. Like, I get used to these shows and talking to you and talking to everybody here in the chat.
Me too. I wholeheartedly agree, man. Like, Tuesday nights are like a highlight of the week for me because I love NXT. You're a great company. And the DWO is like the best fan base you can have, man. You guys are so freaking awesome. You are the best, man. But I have to be back, man. And what a great episode tonight. Now, tonight made up for last week. Last week was butt cheeks, okay? But tonight was good.
Hey, people like butt cheeks, Chindedu.
That's right.
I was going to say, you're out here shaming butt cheeks. People love butt cheeks. Okay,
I'm sorry, y'all, for all the butt cheek lovers in the chat. I didn't mean to shame nobody today.
We don't mean to offend the butt cheek lovers of the universe. I hope you take no offense.
No offense at all. I love butt. We all have butt cheeks, and they all deserve to be loved. So we love butt cheeks.
Oh man, I can't, you guys. Hey, we got a new thing going here on this chat now. I'm telling you, something crazy always happens. But exactly. Anyways, well, we're professionals here. Let's get to it. We got some super chats to kick things off with. I want to get started with what people thought about this episode of the NXT because we're going to have some interesting predictions to get into. We got Brandon Rosen who says, sing it with me. I believe in Joe Hendry. And that is going to be the big question that I'm going to pose right now to the chat. Do you believe that we are going to be seeing a brand new NXT champion crowned at No Mercy? Let us know in the chat and we'll get to that in just a second. We got Sheldon Jackson who gifted 5 DWO memberships and also sent in a couple of super chats saying, I think Joe Hendry should become NXT champion, but I think a certain walking weapon will screw him out of the title and the North will reunite. Also, Fatal Influence, whack-ass toxic attraction. Okay, all right. These are two separate big topics. So first and foremost, that prediction of Joe Hendry, we'll get to that in a second. Okay, hold on. There's too much happening right now. Look, we'll start with Fatal Influence, Chindedu. Because Fatal Influence, for the most part, we kind of already knew that we were going to start to get this new girl group, right? We're seeing JC Jane, Jasmine Nix, and Fallon Henley, and now they have a new influence. Now, of course, Toxic Attraction was the group that JC Jane was previously in, with Gigi Dolan as well as Mandy Rose. And unfortunately, that disbanded because of Mandy Rose having, basically being let go from the company. And then JC Jane and Gigi went on and had a feud of their own, right? And it kind of felt like JC didn't really find her footing on her own. Even Gigi, I mean, Gigi's gone right now, but JC hasn't really found her footing just yet. And for the most part, we've been seeing her, we saw her do that program with Thea Hale. And then after this, she's formed this new partnership with Jasmine Nix. And now all of a sudden, Fallon Henley has joined the group as well. And now it's official. We have a brand new girl group on NXT. What do you think of Fatal Influence?
Well, firstly, I want to say I'm happy they finally have a name. We're getting, again, we're getting to the point with who's who's that's what I wanted to know. It was interesting too because the rumor mill actually had Fatal Influence as a potential name for Liv Morgan to have a group. There were the rumor mill that was going to possibly be her name of a potential faction for her though. But I'm glad it went to them. And I'm be real. Hey, I mean, it ain't the most creative name in the world, but it's better than Pure Fusion Collective. So
yeah,
I'm
I
cool.
I keep forgetting that it's even Pure Fusion Collection for Sonya, Zoe, and Shayna. It's too long of a name. I keep forgetting it.
Yeah, I wish we could forget it. I wish we could just forget it. Like, just start over, guys. Just forget something else. Y'all don't want to be called like the tap out trio or something like that, or real shooter straight. It's like something like, what is that? Like, it reminds me of like when things were called. Remember Absolution? Remember that?
Yes.
Like along the lines of that, just terrible. Like, okay, I can't get it. It's too long. It's not fun. It's not catchy. To me, I need something that I can put on a t-shirt. And yeah, I can't put Pure Fusion Collective on a t-shirt and then I can sell it.
So I don't hate the name Fatal Influence. I actually like it. I don't mind it at all. And the promo that they cut today, basically kind of explaining the name, is basically them saying that they're sort of anti-influencers. They're anti people basically getting opportunities because, oh, well, they got a bunch of followers and, oh, they got famous over here. So all of a sudden they're pursuing wrestling when we were the ones that were, busting our butts and this and that, right? Like that's basically what they were saying. But for me, I feel like it's so weird, right? When you say being like anti-influencer or anti-people with a large social media following, because at the end of the day, you're a celebrity on TV, and every celebrity, at least I think, on TV should have a pretty large following, right? It's almost like, and I like this because later on we had Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, who we are going to be seeing face Fatal Influence next week. They were saying, they were talking about them. And my favorite part, in one line, Lash Legend summarized exactly what I was thinking about this, which was, don't be bitter and get better. That's it. So it kind of, in one sentence, I'm like, she kind of defeated this whole purpose of, being anti-influencer.
I definitely agree. Like, I like that they included the background frustration of how they have these collegiate athletes coming in for tryouts and all that, because that is a real frustration that these wrestlers have in real life, because that would frustrate me. If I'm doing this for a living and then some guy from another sport who's just good at their sport, who really could make it in their sport, honestly, comes into my land and does in front of me, that would bother me though. So I like them including that in there. But what you said before too, the hypocrisy in it, people who are saying you have large influence, large followings, you all have large followings. You're on television. You all have large followings. So I get that part too as well. And it's just oh my God, I lost train of thought for a second. What was I about to say right now? God,
maybe I'll bring you back to your train of thought. But Chinedu, you mentioned something about like, okay, you're a comedian, right? And let's say that I'm not a comedian, right? Let's say tomorrow, all of a sudden I go, you know what? I'm going to be a comedian. I go out, I put a show and I sell out 10,000 tickets. And it's like, oh my God, this girl has no experience as a comedian and she's coming out here and she's, whatever, killing it, right? Then comedians are going to be like, what the hell? Okay, and that happens, in all walks of life. But here's the thing, though. This is the way that I see it. If somebody from like an outsider comes into something and they're good, I can't have a problem with that. Now, if they stink, well, too bad. But if they're good, I'm just a hater. If you hate on that person.
That was actually the point I was going to get at too, though, because it's kind of a drawback though, because in wrestling, we look at what athletes were in other sports that came over here that didn't have wrestling in their mind originally. That's The Rock, Bill Goldberg, Roman Reigns, with Braun Breaker to a certain degree. Who else? Undertaker. He was in basketball. He was wanted to be basketball. So it's like, it's that frustration though. But if we actually didn't go that route, think of all the stars we wouldn't have had today. So it's kind of like, I feel you then, but at the same time, if we didn't do that, we wouldn't have Jada Parker. So I can't get with that. I just can't.
Like, I do get it though. Obviously there's going to be more pride in the whole, hey, I went to wrestling school, I went through the independent circuit, and hey, I got signed by WWE. Obviously there's a lot more pride that comes with that, but that's a different story, I think, for like another time. But for the most part though, I do get what they're trying to do with Fatal Influence. But look, I'm here for it. I hope that here's the thing, and this is the thing that I think is going to really get them over, or at least help get them over, is that they need to have a unique look, because right now they don't have, because here's the thing, when you looked at Toxic Attraction, they all meshed together, right? They were all different, right? Because Gigi had a different look from Mandy, and Mandy from JC. They all looked very different, but they had the same aesthetic. All three of them came out and basically looked like a group. They looked like a unit.
Yes.
And that's what I want to see from Fatal Influence. Of course, it's new. I'm hoping that they come up with some cool ideas. So I'm willing to let this, play out. I'm willing to give it a chance here, especially because I do think specifically for JC and Jasmine, I think that for them too, this is really going to benefit for them. For Fallon Henley, I was a little bit surprised to find her in this group because I don't think she needs it. I think Fallon Henley was doing pretty well off on her own.
She really was. I was enjoying her as a babyface. That's what made it so weird for me. Because again, like, she's not a bad heel. Like she's getting. I mean, I feel she's in her groove with it. She's not shying away from it though. But I really thought like she was becoming a really good guy. So again, it was still just weird to me that they made her heel, and now she's in this group, and like it's focused on her though. But I felt like it's less focused because she's in a group now rather than her just being a single star. Like the way they're pushing Sol Ruka is how I thought they were going to push Fallon Henley right now at this point.
Right. And it's not like we were tired of Fallon Henley as a babyface. Like usually when you get tired of someone as a babyface, you're thinking, turn them heel. That's it. We've already seen everything. But instead, I wasn't feeling that with Fallon Henley. With Fallon Henley, I was going, it's just a little bit more time, and she's going to become champion. She's almost going to be there. It's almost going to happen. And then it was, cut off the legs from underneath her, and it's, okay, let's turn her heel. And I'm going, okay, fine. I'm here for it. Let's see what Fallon Henley as a heel is going to look like. But it wasn't this, it feels like there was some reshuffling after the big move. And so anyways, I am going to give Fatal Influence a chance. We'll see how it works out. I think it could be something, but yeah, they got to look cohesive as a unit. And I hope that it highlights and benefits all three of them, hopefully equally. So we'll see what that happens there. All right, let's see what we got here. This is from Sheldon, who says, Chindedu, have you watched the replay from June 17th yet regarding Wesley and my comment? If so, thoughts, please, sir. Inquiring minds want to know.
No, I haven't, Sheldon. I haven't. But now that you called me out again and even put money behind it, I have to now. So I think the last one we'll be going back and saying that he put 2 in there, man. I have to. I have to go back and see what I said, though, because in my mind, if I said I didn't want to interfere, though, I know I said it more so because Wesley was a face at the time. Be face though, but knowing what we know now, I would have wanted him to come out here and help me whoop Oba Femi's ass. Help me jump this big old dude, Chocolate Brock Lesnar, Chocolate Brocklet, as I call him, and get my title back. So absolutely. But I will be going back to watch, man, only because it's you, Sheldon. Only if it was anybody else in here, I would have done it. But because it's you, Sheldon. You show love every week. DWO memberships, man. I'm checking it out tonight, man. I'll have an answer for you next week.
Nah, bro. If someone tells me, Denise, you said this on June 17th, I'd be like, I don't know what the hell I said on June 17th. I don't even know what I said yesterday.
I gotta go back and look. I want to see.
Dude, I'd be forgetting everything. Sometimes it's terrifying. Sometimes I won't remember something and I'm thinking, what the hell? Like, that's it? Like, I'm barely, the age that I am, and I'm already forgetting things. What's wrong with me? But seriously, who remembers what they said on June 17th?
I don't. That's why I gotta go back and look. I don't even remember what day was that was a Tuesday? I was like, man.
Unfortunately for you and I, it's on tape. It's on video. We can play anything back that we've said, which is terrifying, by the way.
Yes, and now that I know, thanks to Sheldon, I got some homework tonight. Thanks, Sheldon.
All right, so here we go. We got Stephen Marchulli, who says Joe Hendry is winning the title will be best for business with CW launch looming. All right, answering our hot question of the day. Matt Logan says, so a TNA wrestler beats a main roster WWE guy, and he puts the eyebrow sus emoji there. That's another topic we got to get into. We also have Joe here, who's been a member of the DWO now for a month, who says NXT was great. So Ruka as an MVP. Rascals fight at the end. Oh, yeah, that was definitely a fun way to close out the show, especially because it was done in a way to trick the people. So we also had Luis Arturos Mendez, who says, who would have thought in 2024 that a TNA wrestler will face a former AEW star for the NXT Championship? Wrestling is wild in 2024. Dude, when you put it like that, it kind of trips me out, by the way. But hey, it's pro wrestling. We're seeing people, have different dance partners and different whatever. Let's get to it because that's what everybody wants to talk about. So the big match that we had that closed out NXT today was a triple threat match to determine who would face Ethan Page at NXT No Mercy. And I think for the most part, I think people knew Joe Hendry was winning, or maybe just wanted him to win, or thought that, hey, that's the smartest decision because it's best for business. But with NXT, sometimes they like to throw you for a loop, Chindedu. Sometimes they like to surprise the people and not go the direction that you kind of expected them to go to. So I thought, okay, to me, Joe Hendry's winning. But knowing NXT, they might throw in a swerve ball and something will happen, right? So I wasn't fully convinced. I was like 99.9% sure he was winning. But he does get the win here. And the way that this sort of played out was that we see Ethan Page at one point comes out and costs Joe Hendry this match for at least momentarily. Because Joe Hendry pretty much already had this one. But Ethan Page comes out and basically ruins that for that moment. And we see Joe Hendry get angry. He takes out his anger on Wesley. And then we're seeing Ethan Page distract the referee. There's a lot of shit going on. And then from far, we see Trick Williams come out and give a giant knee to Pete Dunne, who was in the match. And so then that allowed, or rather, I think he dragged his body, right? Didn't he drag Joe Hendry's body? Yeah. He then drags Joe Hendry's body on top of Pete Dunne, and Joe Hendry gets the win, 1, 2, 3, and Ethan Page isn't able to make it back to the ring in time to stop it. So that was a whole lot that kind of went down in that short amount of time. But point is, Joe Hendry wins. He's facing Ethan Page for the NXT Championship. Now, I want to start here, Chinedu, because at Slammiversary, Joe Hendry was part of a 6-person match for the TNA Championship. And a lot of people thought, oh, he's going to win, right? Like, he's so hot right now, given all the appearances in WWE. Everybody was sort of expecting, I think, Joe Hendry to get the win. And then it didn't end up happening. And so that was kind of shocking. And I think it left a lot of people wondering, well, what does this mean? What does this mean if they didn't give him the title? So now we're in a situation where he is challenging for the NXT Championship. And I'm feeling, and I think a lot of people here in the chat are feeling, based on what I've been seeing, is that he might be winning the NXT Championship. Are you there with me? Or do you think they're going to play this out a little longer?
I'm hoping he wins because, like, again, Ethan Page, having a heel champion is great because you can have, like, your face as challengers. It makes for more compelling television. But I hope he does win. A part of me is like, he may not. I'm hard because, like, I want Trick to get his title back because I love Trick Williams. But I feel, and I believe in Joe Hendry. So I do hope he wins. And I knew when he didn't win the TNA title, I knew there was something more in store for him, though. I really feel he's already with NXT now. I think he's under contract already because at this point, you're putting this much TV time behind him, and he won the number 1 contendership match. I feel like it's too insane for him not to win at this point. Like, I did all this for him not to win, all this build up for an outsider not to win. I feel like they built him more up than they've done Ethan Page. So I really feel like he should be on that path. I love how they have the camera angles very chaotic, because at first I was like, why didn't they get a close-up shot of Trick Williams coming in the ring? But I know they want to give like a more chaotic vibe, like there's so much going on. You can't tell what's happening. It's all chaos. So I loved it. He came in, hit the trick shot. I did not see that coming. So I'll say that too. I didn't expect him to come out. So I like that a whole lot. And I'm really excited about it, though. Joe Henry's promos are great. And I feel Ethan Page as a heel champion, he has served a somewhat purpose. But again, like I feel like the momentum is with Joe Hendry to be over as a champion. So I'm hoping he gets his belt, because again, Ethan Page, it's kind of been a meh run right now. So hopefully they give it to him. So our CW on the right note.
So also, just so you guys know, this was something that a lot of people have also been mentioning, and Sheldon Jackson mentioned it earlier as well, was that there are people that are expecting for Josh Alexander to get involved during this, as Sheldon mentioned earlier, that, hey, that could be a way to sort of, get him in this match against Ethan Page. Cool, it's a big match, but hey, he's not winning the NXT Championship just yet. Why? Because there could be this, interference by Josh Alexander. Okay, great. That helps with their NXT programming, and that also sort of, helps them get out of having to put the title on a TNA person. Because at the end of the day, he's not a WWE talent. He's an TNA talent. So it's kind of weird. And I can't imagine WWE having a world champion, and even on their developmental brand, that isn't signed to their promotion. It's kind of crazy, right?
It is. Alundra Blaze got blacklisted for this kind of stuff, okay? Like holding titles and other companies like that. This is wild stuff. They screwed Brett behind this stuff, okay? So it's crazy seeing it happen in 2024 where an outsider could potentially hold that belt. Seeing it with Jordan Grace and Roxanne Perez was already kind of wild. But I felt that Roxanne was going to win anyway. But this one is very different, because I really feel the momentum is with Joe Hendry, because he's so old with the crowd, and like they haven't booked Ethan Page as this unstoppable champion yet. It's kind of like a chicken shit heel, though. So he could very well lose his belt. I mean, who knows? Interference from Wesley, Trick, Ora Menta could come out last minute. So you never know what could happen with this, though. So I do feel that he has a really good chance of winning.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I'm sort of torn, because there's part of me that is thinking, okay, best for business, have Joe Hendry win, and let's just freaking rock with it. Because if you remember, before we got to all of this, before we got to Ethan Page with all of his stuff, before we got to Joe Hendry coming in, before we got to a lot of this, where were we at, Chindedu? We were at Trick Williams, the hottest person in the NXT brand, as champion. We were sort of on this high where he was the champ, and everybody was so excited to have this babyface champion, and people were really into it, right? And then he gets screwed out of his NXT championship. He still has not been redeemed, and he's been sort of going this downward spiral. He got a little revenge today against Pete Dunne. Cool, liking how that feud is turning out, fine. But that's where we were at. We were at a top babyface champion. And then we went into a whole other direction. And it really hasn't been that hot. Right now, Ethan Page's run has not been necessarily anything remarkable, right? And I don't think that's what people were expecting when Ethan Page came in. So of course, the two options are you go with Joe Hendry and shock everybody. Oh my God, a TNA person is an NXT champion. Holy shit. Or you do a situation where, for example, you have Josh Alexander randomly, or whatever happens, cost Joe Hendry the match, or hell, even Joe Hendry just loses clean to Ethan Page. I don't know. Whatever happens, if you do have Ethan Page win, I would kind of hope that it's not clean, only for one reason. I want to see Joe Hendry and Ethan Page maybe go through it and do a longer program. But at the same time, if Ethan Page does defeat Joe Hendry clean, he kind of needs that too for his reign, because it would be like, oh shit, he defeated Joe Hendry? Shit. But at the same time, I don't think the fans would want to see that. And as I'm hearing myself say that, I don't want to see that. So if you're going to ask me, what do I truly want to see? I want to see Joe Hendry win. I want to see that shocking surprise of, oh my God, they actually went for it, and Joe Hendry is the champion. So the fan part of me wants to see Joe Hendry win. The analytical part of me is expecting him to get screwed.
And I'm right there with you, Denise, because again, Ethan Page's run has not been exciting. Like when you didn't main event Great American Bash. You didn't even main event. You're the world champion. You were the bathroom break for your match. So that's pretty telling as to where they view you on this card. To me, his promos, although he's good on the mic, he's not connecting with the crowd the way that you thought he would as NXT champion. His feud with Ora Mensa, like that 1, 2, 3 thing, the fans kind of just had to remember that they were doing that before, because it wasn't because he had heat, it wasn't because they were really into his promos. It's just kind of been lackluster though. So I feel in order to kind of put the title back in the main event pictures where the title should be, you got to put it on somebody that the crowd's really behind. And it's not Ethan Page, not even as a heel. Like I feel he doesn't even get I don't feel he even gets good go away heel heat. He just gets kind of lukewarm. Oh, he's here.
For who? For Ethan Page?
Yeah.
I think the reason, I think the problem is it's the feud, it's the story. Like they're really, I mean, like you mentioned it right now with Ora Mensa. Nobody cared about that. Like nobody was interested in that. And so I feel like when Ethan Page won the title, and it was also too the way that when they did that fatal 4-way, right? Like Chindedu, you and I were here talking about it. We were talking about how the finish was so it was so disembobulated. Like it just was not anything really good. I feel like that kind of hurt Ethan Page as well as it hurt Trick Williams and it hurt Shawn Spears. I mean, we already broke that down. We don't even got to get into that again. But the point is that it hurt a couple of people in that matchup there. And so then you have Ethan Page who came in, he was hot, everything was cool, and then he wins the title. Awesome, cool. Let's see where this goes from here. But then the first feud that he had was Ora Mensa, and so that kind of took a dip, and I feel like that kind of took a little bit of the buzz or the excitement away. So it's not nothing to do with Ethan Page. It was just the story that people weren't interested in, because again, Ethan Page is a really good promo, as we've been seeing here on NXT. He's got a great look, he's got presence. It's just a matter of the matches and what we can get out of that, because the stuff with Trick Williams, they kept it relatively short. When he had his one-on-one match with Trick Williams, like that was short. And then the Fatal 4-Way, that was really fun, cool stuff. But yes, I do think it's more so just the story that kind of took away some of the interest that I think people had. But it's not completely gone, though. Of course not. I think that's going to be easily attainable the second. He's going to get that back the second he's in a more pleasing story. And I do think the story here with Joe Hendry would be a lot more pleasing.
Absolutely. And I agree, it's all about booking. His storylines are very weak right now. They're not exciting. He's getting opponents that we know he's going to beat. Now, if we'd have got and I know it wouldn't happen, but if we had a Sami Zayn or a Jey Uso come out for a program with him, I feel he would have got a lot more heat, a lot more attention for something like that, because those are more credible challengers.
Right. Okay, so, and also Jeremy Harris brings up something. He says, Denise, remember Kenny Omega held all 3 world titles from different promotions in 2021. Yeah, but that's not WWE. WWE and AEW and New Japan, they're all different animals, all different beasts. Like WWE doesn't work that way. Like they're a lot more different in that it's WWE or die, right? That's what it is. It's WWE or die. And so it's totally different. I personally do not feel that you can make that comparison there. So I'm not talking about pro wrestling in general. I'm talking about WWE specifically WWE. And also, this is, Joe mentioning that Joe Hendry's first WWE PLE. That's also a fun fact there. All right, Lazarus Sweet says, I was surprised that Zach attacked Wes at the end. So that's a whole other portion that we got to get into. So let's do it right now. At the end of this, we see Trick attack Pete Dunne, cost him the match, right? We see everything happen between Ethan Page and Joe Hendry. The other portion of this, the other branch in this, was Wesley being attacked by sorry, I was thinking Nash Carter. I'm already getting Zachary Wentz, whatever you want to call him, his old NXT name or his current name. Let's go with Zachary Wentz. So it's Zachary Wentz attacking freaking Wesley immediately after. And it was also actually, it was immediately after, but they had already put the little end credit at the bottom. So you're probably thinking, oh yeah, NXT's over. And then he comes out of nowhere, out of the crowd, and bam, just takes out Wesley. And so that was something that was sort of fun to see how that kind of played out, because I don't think people were expecting it at the very, very end of the show. But it was something they had to do, especially because, hey, we're coming off of this big, giant turn. Now, Chindedu, I didn't watch NXT last week. What happened there specifically with Wesley and that whole story?
The wildest part is that, and everyone in the chat, I feel everyone watched it with me. Like, it was weird, it was like Bizarro World, because Wesley came out and he got cheered for his promo. Like, it wasn't like, and that would have made me, that'd piss me off too, man. This guy beats me up, comes out here, cuts a promo, and y'all start cheering. All right, this guy were clapping for him. And he was like, he started talking about his reign North American champion there, because he was really telling the truth. It was everything we said last week. He had this going on, that going on. This person left. I did everything I was supposed to do. He really said the truth, which made it even more compelling. Like, yo, I agree with you, Wes. And that was the crowd. Like, it was a dick move, but I mean, I agree. So that's what made it even kind of, again, something like Denise would have hated this episode. She would have been so pissed off. Like, this is so, you'd have hated it. So, but him coming out and getting some justice, I'm not surprised. I'm actually glad he did, because at this point, like, it was almost like he was going to be forgotten about, because it looked like Wes was already moving on with his life, and he's another match looking at the world title. I'm glad they add that in there to let him know that this feud is not over, and I'm glad Zach came out looking strong to whoop some ass, because he really went out looking bad. Like, one guy beat both y'all up, came out the next week, and got cheered for it. Okay, I'm pissed. I'm glad that happened.
All righty, man. That was a cool way to end the show. And I'm glad that they did circle back to that, because, again, I kind of thought, like, I wasn't sure if I had missed anything real big last week in regards to that. Because I'm telling you, like, I only read the, what do you call it? I only read what they were the championships that changed hands. So I didn't get to read the full results of everything that happened on the show last week. But anyways, all right. So we do got to get into some other big moments that occurred on the show. And the other big moment that I want to get into is that Gauntlet Eliminator. So we're talking NXT No Mercy, and we officially have the opponent for Roxanne Perez. And this may or may not have surprised a couple of you, but we ended up seeing the final two in this match was Jada Parker versus Sol Ruca. Now, I feel like I've seen this movie before, Chinedu, where Sol Ruca is in the final two, and everyone's thinking, oh, it's going to be Sol Ruca. And then it's not Sol Ruca, because we thought she was going to be the first NXT North American Women's Champion, and then she wasn't. And then in this situation, too, we also thought, hey, she's probably going to win. The crowd was chanting for Sol Ruca. The crowd definitely wanted Sol Ruca. But it was a swerve, and we ended up seeing Jada Parker get a massive victory here, and she wins this Eliminator Gauntlet, which, by the way, I'm so thrilled that they did this format of the Gauntlet, because I kind of hate I'm so tired of the original format, which is you have your two competitors start, somebody pins the other person, the next person comes in. I like it like this better, where it's an elimination and you can have multiple people in the ring at a given time. I feel like it just makes it, I don't know, I like the format. It just flows better. It's smoother. I personally enjoy it just a lot more. But Jada gets the win here, and now she's going to go on to face Roxanne Perez. And I know you love, and these are your girls, Chinedu, both of them. I mean, are you torn? Where are we at?
I'm not torn at all. Jada Parker, listen, y'all, I'm not torn at all. I love both of them, but I am very much so team Jada Parker. She's a beautiful girl and all that stuff, though. But in all seriousness, though, I truly do love this girl's persona, like the attitude, the charisma, the stage presence, the ring skills. I truly enjoy. I feel she's the total package of what a WWE superstar should be. And so I'm really happy to see her. Her mic skills are good. Like, she still has that edge to her promos. It's polished, but it still has that edge on it. Let you know, yo, this is my background is what it is, though. But I can still talk on this mic, though. So I like that. I love that they kind of plant that seed. Because when she interrupted Roxanne's promo 2 weeks ago, I was like, she's the next challenger. They did it. It was a real small thing that she did an interview, and Jada walked by, and she said, "You're champion for now." And that was it. That's all they did. And I liked it. I was like, okay, I like that. So will she win against Roxanne? I don't know. I don't think she will, because I feel like they have more in store for Roxanne's run. I feel it's like, because even still, like, I still don't know who will take the title off of her yet. I love Jada Parker. I hope it's her, But I'm just really excited about this win. She deserves it. She's great in that ring, and I cannot wait for her to take center stage against Roxanne Perez at No Mercy, man. She deserves it. Team Jada Parker.
Well, I love that you picked up on that in regards to the promo with Jada and Roxanne. But I mean, I feel like for the most part, this feels very, very, this feels very predictable. And this is still super early for Jada in her career. No one's really expecting her to get. I mean, if she were to defeat Roxanne Perez, it would be like a huge, huge surprise. Mm-hmm. So I don't think people are really expecting that. However, I think also there would have been Soruka. I don't think people would have also been expecting Soruka to defeat Roxanne Perez. So regardless, I think we were just in a situation where no one has really been put in that position where you're like, oh shit, like this person's legitimately going to defeat Roxanne. I think that the last person that was in that position was Lola Vice. And then we saw how that basically played out. It didn't happen, right? So I feel like the person that does defeat Roxanne Perez, whenever that does happen, it's got to be somebody that has definitely gotten that, that has that big push behind where you think, oh shit, like this really is going to be the person that will defeat Roxanne. And so neither of these two girls necessarily came across that way, but regardless, this is a big moment for Jada Parker. This win was big, and her match against Roxanne Perez is really going to be like an opportunity for her to show what she can do in the biggest match of her career, at least for sure here in NXT, and what she's done, because I don't think she's had a bigger, I mean, I don't know what she was doing prior to this, but this is definitely the biggest thing she's done or is going to do on NXT.
This is definitely the biggest thing she's done today. And I'm sure we all know smart money is Roxanne's going to retain the title, though. Although I would love to see Jada Parker win. I'm a big fan. Like you said, it's early in her career, and I do see it being similar to Lola Vice and as well with Thea Hales. Well, like it's going to be a great showing. It's going to be a good, hard-hitting match. We're going to be able to see more of Jada Parker's arsenal. Great stage, great platform, though. But I do see Roxanne retaining, especially with the fact that they have Julia and Stephanie Vacker, who have not debuted yet. That's still looming in the atmosphere, though. So I still feel those are feuds that they still want Roxanne to go through as a champion. So I still feel at minimum, as long as those girls have not debuted yet, that title's staying on Roxanne Perez.
Right. And so that's like a big thing too. And I know the chat was definitely bringing it up. And that's something that, a lot of people and everybody on the internet has been talking about. Stephanie has been talking about Julia and when they come in and this and that. And Roxanne herself has even brought it up in promos where she says she mentioned the conversation going online about, Stephanie and whatnot. And I like that. I like that she acknowledged it. But then also, why did she acknowledge it? Why did she say it out loud? I feel like that was definitely them foreshadowing, hey, or at least hinting at, we know it's the conversation is, and yeah, you're going to get it, but wait and see how we tell this story and how it ends up, sort of coming to fruition here on the show. So do you think NXT No Mercy is when we're finally going to see, maybe even just Stephanie Vacker coming in or anybody?
I think so. I think after Roxanne retains the title, we may see one of them debut, have like a face-off from the stage of the ring. Or maybe Roxanne will cut a promo saying, I've defeated everyone on this roster. There's no one here better than me. And that's when we get a music hit to either Julia or Stephanie. I'm hoping we see one of them debut, because at this point, it's been a while now since we've seen the rumors and things like that and the confirmation of them signing. I do know that they have to take their time, and there are other factors in there that we may not know about once they've signed, of course. But I do hope we eventually see one of them debut at No Mercy. I need to see one of them.
Right, because I'm looking at the No Mercy card, and I feel like for the most part, everything feels super straightforward because, okay, you got Roxanne versus Jada Parker, NXT Women's Championship. All right, Roxanne for the win. You have the NXT Women's North American Championship, which is Kalani Jordan versus Wendy Choo. We'll talk about how that was made. But even then, to me, that's straightforward. Kalani Jordan for the win. NXT North American Championship here, Oba Femi versus Tony D'Angelo. I'm sorry, but that better be Oba Femi. And then we have the NXT Tag Team Championship rematch, Chase University versus Nathan Frazier and Axiom. I don't think they're going to want to do Chase U dirty and have them lose, in their first defense of the titles here. So I personally also think that was also a pretty straightforward prediction with that match. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, for the most part, besides the Ethan Page, Joe Hendry match, everything feels pretty predictable. So you got to have some extra little flavor, because for the most part, I'm looking at this pay-per-view and I'm going, there's one match really where I can honestly say I'm looking forward to it. 1 of 5 matches. And that's the Ethan Page Joe Hendry match. And then it's like, and the Roxanne Jada Parker, but it's not like I'm sitting here not expecting to know how it's going to play out. It's really the Ethan Page Joe Hendry match that I think is the most intriguing part of the card that's been announced so far.
Absolutely. If we were betting on DraftKings, I think we'd make a lot of money off this show, Denise, because it's pretty predictable. You tell who's going to win each match, except for the one you said like that, though. But I mean, I'm hoping for something exciting to happen, though, because like you said, this card is pretty predictable. I don't see anyone changing. I don't see any title changing hands, though. I just truly don't. Hopefully Joe Hendry, though, but everything else in this card, pretty predictable. Kalani's going to retain. Although I will say something real quick, too. I saw the peaks of a heel turn for Kalani.
Right? Did you sense it? I sensed it today. I didn't sense it before, and I know you've been talking about this for a while now, but I didn't really care for it when you first brought it up. But apparently you're Nostradamus since you predicted the whole Wesley turn. But it wasn't until today. Today I sensed it. But with that being said, we need to talk about Lola Vice versus Wendy Choo and why I was not a fan of this, Chindedu. I did not like the finish to this match, okay? I have loved, and I mean loved, what they have done with Lola Vice on NXT. Like, that's my girl. I'm rooting for her, man. I am so freaking rooting for her. Now, so on one hand, you've had Lola Vice have a really, really nice trajectory, right? She got some really big wins. She's been undefeated in the NXT Underground match. She defeated Natalya. That's huge. She went into this, very fun feud with her and Roxanne Perez. For the most part, everything has been really exciting for Lola Vice. Okay, cool. Wendy Choo came back, and for the most part, she's sort of just been there. Like, that's it. She's just been there. At one point, I thought she was going to be in this alliance with Tatum Paxley. It didn't really go anywhere there. So I'm going, okay, what really is what we're going to be seeing happening here on the show? And so for me, I'm looking at that, and I'm going, hey, what is going to happen with Wendy Choo? What is going to happen? And so it hasn't been something that's been calling my name here. Now, I look at these two competitors and I'm going, if you're going to have Wendy Choo get a big win, I didn't want it to be against Lola Vice. Or if you wanted her to get a solid win, I didn't want it to be against Lola Vice. Now, of course, Lola Vice ended up getting hit with the pillow that was later revealed by Kalani had the belt inside. So it's basically like her taking a chair shot. I didn't love it. I didn't love the way that they did that. I kind of felt like it just made Lola Vice look like a sucker, especially considering how good. I mean, this girl literally backfisted a freaking security guard. And so I'm feel like that's just, I didn't like the way that she was taken out in this match. And then I thought, okay, maybe the good thing here is that we're going to see Lola Vice and Kalani Jordan. Hey, this could be Lola Vice's chance of becoming, or at least going for the NXT North American Championship. So then I thought that's what was going to happen. But then instead, we made Wendy Choo versus Kalani Jordan. And to me, I don't feel like there's been enough intrigue in Wendy Choo since her return. And so for me, this kind of just did not hit in multiple places. I didn't like how this made Lola Vice look. I didn't think Wendy Choo should be the one to have that match against Kalani Jordan. It does not feel like a PLE match. Like, this is not a PLE match to me. It's going to probably be really great, sure, but that does it right now, story-wise, it does not feel like a PLE match.
Absolutely, Denise. There are so many things about this that I did not like. I'm going to start with the fact that Lola Vice is a face. I don't like it. I don't like it. I liked her as a cool heel that the fans cheered, but she didn't give a shit about the fans cheering because she knew she was the best. I feel that fits her personality a little bit better. Like this baby face that's sticking up for my friend. I didn't like it, though, because really, Lola really should be F this girl. I don't care. I want the belt. I don't care that you don't like her. And that's who I felt Lola is. And that's why I like the edge on the attitude, because this is a dog-eat-dog division. It's everyone for themselves. Like, we're cool, but I want that belt. And the fact that you're worried about it. And even then, in this match, Lola's been built up to be a killer. She beat Natalya, as you mentioned, Shayna Baszler in there as well, who is very credible in real life. And she had a great showing against Roxanne Perez. Wendy Choo shown up, and all she's done is be weird. That's it.
Yeah, literally.
Just weird. That's it. That's all she's done. And she beats Lola.
Right.
Lola
That's sort of how I felt. Yeah.
Like when she did the whole I'm a Latina thing, the fact the crowd was with it, she's built it up so much that the crowd likes it now. Because at first I was just like, I mean, should you say that? In my mind, I ain't want to chime in. I'm not Latino, so I ain't gonna chime in. But I'm black, I don't know if I should do that. I mean, I was wondering, I don't know. I don't know.
You're like, is that allowed? Is that politically correct?
Yes, I didn't know. So I'm not coming. I don't know.
I can tell you, like, I think it depends on the person, right? It depends on how you say it, how you sell it. Like, to me, whenever Lola Vice says, I'm a Latina, it's basically her saying, I'm a Latina, I'm a badass, you don't mess with me.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love when she says it. Now, I don't know how you would feel if you went out there and you were like, I don't know how you would feel, how that would come across. I don't know. Yeah. It's different, right? It's different for the person. It's different for, I don't really know. I guess it depends on how you said it, Chindedu.
Yeah, but I do understand her intention with it too at first, because at first I was like, my mind was like, I don't know, can I say it too? Because I thought it was great, but she's built it up so much the crowd likes it.
I like her moveset too.
Yeah, I love it because it's, again, like, I love her energy. She has, again, like Jada Parker, she has all the tools of what I feel they want in a real WWE superstar. Lola's a superstar. Wendy Choo is not, okay? And I feel that, like, Lola should have been protected. If you want to beat a babyface, what's that girl with the sword? I keep forgetting her name. I'm sorry.
With the sword.
She has like the little sword she comes out with, and she like, what's her name?
Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Which one's the one with the sword? It's not Carmen Petrovic, is it? She doesn't come out with a sword, does she?
Yeah, she does. I think she has a sword, right? I think she does, right?
Yeah, it is Carmen. Everyone's putting Carmen. Yeah, okay, it is Carmen. Yeah.
So if she'd have beat her,
I remember she could. Hold on. By the way, that's been like my thing. I'm like, we gotta like not forget who. There's a lot of women on this roster. All right, people.
A lot. All right. So I'm just like, and all one reason why they could have booked somebody else in that spot, but with Lola, I felt like she should have won this match. And also with Kalani, that was a dick move, Kalani. You interrupted this girl's match.
That was very unlike her. So it was, that was the first sign of Kalani possibly turning heel, because it was her coming out with, why are you getting involved in this match? You're not that kind of a person. That's not what we've been seeing there. And even afterwards, when she ended up, hitting her and pulling out the belt afterwards, which that was fine because it was her essentially getting revenge and showing that. But I think it was more so her coming out and getting involved was like, okay, we're starting to see shades there, just shades. Yeah.
And it looked like she didn't care at all about ruining Lola's match, because when she held her title up high, she felt like she did something great. No, actually, you kind of cost Lola that match, actually, and like we didn't see Lola's reaction.
That's why I thought Lola was going to be her opponent. So at first I was unhappy about it because I thought it was going to lead to Lola versus Carmen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I thought so too. But then like they even show Lola. I'm like, I hope Lola is mad. If anything, if they don't turn Kalani heel, I hope this turns Lola back heel. Because she's like, you see what I do? I'm trying to be friends with people. I get screwed over like that because she got screwed out her match for being a friend. And again, I want Lola to go back to being the badass guy. That's what I've been. So I just want that. But overall, I'm happy with the program. And I am predicting again a Kalani heel turn. Love the curls, but I see the curls going away. The girl next door curls. I see her getting a nasty silk press or a bob. So nasty. Coming out with a good promo. Something like that.
Exactly. Hey, we're bound to see it at some point. Everybody turns heel on NXT, all right? It's bound to happen. It happened to Roxanne. It happened to Fallon Henley. And you know what? It's going to happen to freaking Kalani, all right? If you're too nice on NXT, no, it ain't going to work. We're going to turn you heel. It's just going to happen that way. All right. So anyways, we got to get into some of these other topics here that happened on the show. And really, there's some things that I'm like, right, we're going to talk about it. So let's just run through some of these. There's only so much to say about some of this stuff. But we got Duke and Riley versus Nathan and Axiom. And really, Nathan and Axiom get this win in this match. And we later find out that they are going to have their rematch against Chase U at NXT No Mercy. But really, the only thing that I kept thinking about while watching this match was that I actually thought that Riley really looked good in this match. Riley Osborne, I felt like he came out there and he had some exciting moments, and he really nailed it here today. So that was really the big thing. But did you take away anything from this match?
Honestly, no. With everything with Chase U and those guys, I feel it was my prediction. And again, I know I'm on heel turn mode tonight. I feel if Axiom and Frazier get those titles back, then what's his name is going to turn on Chase U. What's his
Ridge?
name?
Duke?
Ridge. Yeah, I have a feeling he's going to like destroy Andre Chase and what's his guy's name? He challenged Oba Femi a while back. Duke Hudson. I feel like Duke Hudson's gonna like stand up and they're gonna have their own feud because he was like, I knew all along we couldn't trust you, or something like that. So I see something like that happening because again, like I don't see what they can do with Chase U long term with the tag titles. I don't hate Chase U, but it's like I feel I used to really like them a whole lot though, but I realized I'm more so like Thea Hale. So it's like
So I think I kind of ruined Chase U for you. I think I just ruined them for you. But here's the thing though, I thought Duke was going to turn on Andre Chase like 2 years ago or however long ago. Many moons ago. I felt like that was kind of teased for a while and then nothing really happened, but they made him look suspicious multiple times. Like I remember watching this and going, I don't know about him. I don't really trust him. I don't think they should trust him either. And then that's sort of what they've done with Ridge Holland. And I don't know if maybe they changed their mind on Duke Hudson and they've been wanting to have somebody turn on Chase U. I mean, technically you did. You had JC Jane, but that was primarily her turning against Thea Hale. And she turned against the whole group, but it was really Thea Hale because that was her friend, right? That was her friend. Mm-hmm. But now, we've sort of been waiting also for Ridge Holland because he's also been pretty, on the fence where he's also been a little sus. So we'll see, but it looks like I kind of hope it does happen. But then again, that's just me. That's just me, and I'm not the biggest Chase U fan, and everybody here knows it. All right, everybody here knows it. All right, and speaking of here's something that I'm a big fan of, and I'm so happy they got a win here today. Hank and Tank. I really like Hank and Tank. They defeated Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson, and this is a fun little simple match here. But I was just happy that Hank and Tank got this win. Because they're cool. They've got energy. I personally felt like this was something that they needed. When did they do? Great American Bash. Great American Bash. They were the host of Great American Bash. They were fun. I feel like for the most part, they have, they've done the job. They've understood the assignment for everything that they've done since they got back on TV. So, dude, I was here for this. I think it's time to build them up, and I think they could be the tag team on NXT.
I agree. Like when I see them, I see Edge and Christian early 2000s. Like for those with manipulative flash photography, like that kind of charisma and energy. And I feel like it's like they took that and like along with the look of Heavy Machinery, and you get these guys, and I really like it. I love their energy. The crowd loves them a lot, and I feel like you need that tag team that's just a fan favorite, but has that charisma. Like these guys can open the show and host the show they want to. These guys can carry promos. And it's really, really good. And I like that they had a good win over a good tag team like the Good Brothers. I know we don't see them a lot on TV but they're known to have great matches, get them guys over, especially Machine Gun Karl Anderson, who I feel once again, if they give him if the people knew what he could do as a single star, it's just insane he's in the tag team. But I get it, but I feel it was a great match though, and I truly hope they get built up in this tag team division and eventually get those belts because they deserve it.
Dude, they're hyped, man, and I like it. I think they bring a lively element that we need here. And next up here, we had Oba Femi, Charlie Dempsey, Tony D. I mean, we kind of had a lot sort of play out here. The big moments that we need to get into is that it looked like Oba Femi wanted a shot at Charlie Dempsey's Heritage Cup. And I was looking at that and I was going, why? Why would you want the Heritage Cup? Why? You're the NXT North American champion. I don't want you in this. Like, what are we doing here? I'm sorry, but I do not. Like, I know he obviously is a champion. You're going to want to get more champion, but I felt like that was a step below Oba Femi and where he's at. So I wasn't too crazy about that. But Tony D hit a spine buster on Oba Femi, which was very surprising because Oba Femi is, a big dude. And I mean, Tony D is a pretty big dude too, but he's not as big as Oba Femi. But that was kind of like a interesting moment. I don't know. how do I say this? It didn't feel right though. I've been so used to seeing Oba Femi in these dominating positions that I didn't like seeing him, on the mat there on the floor in pain. But it made Tony D look good. But I don't know. I was surprised by this.
I was too, and I gotta admit, like Chase, I'm not into Tony D. I'm not into the whole family, this thing, because I know it's not real. You don't walk around like Tony D'Angelo. It's like I know it's a show.
Unless you're Italian, though, Italians really do this, and I know this because I have Italian family members.
Which is very true. But when I see his gimmick, it's like I can get it though, but it's almost like I feel like it's just like it's so gimmicky to me in a way. And I think he's a good wrestler and all that though, but I wish they had a different gimmick for him though. And again, the Heritage Cup, that's like the European Championship. Like again, it's beneath Oba. Why would you come out? Why would you want to carry this thing along this belt like this, all awkward looking and stuff like it's dumb, makes no sense. And I gotta be honest, like it's hard even getting into the no quarter catch crew. When he called it the NQCC, I was like, what? Oh, is that what are you trying to make that a thing? Look, it's no. All right, no one's gonna call it that. NQCC, no one's gonna call it that. So boring. Oh my god.
No.
This entire just
I can't. I mean, look, I'm trying with this no quarter catch crew. I've been trying with the no quarter catch crew. That's why I said last week's episode was not the Denise Salcedo episode. That was not for me. But hey, whatever. It's got to be a little bit of everything for everybody. Alrighty, we got one more match to get into. But before we do, just a friendly reminder, guys, tomorrow, we got a lot of streams coming up this week. So tomorrow, I will be here with Righteous Reg to talk about AEW Dynamite. Friday, I will be here to talk about SmackDown with Robin. And then Sunday, Reg and I will be here for an AEW All-In watch-along, which I'm really looking forward to. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So if you guys want to hang out with us and, basically react to the show as things happen, we will be here to, do all of that. But we got one more match to get into for NXT, and that is Dion Lennox versus Ashanti the Adonis. There really isn't too much to say about this other than I'm excited about seeing Ashanti the Adonis kind of have an opportunity here on NXT, which we've talked about before. But Dion Lennox, honestly, this was my first time seeing Dion Lennox. Like, I don't recall seeing him ever. So, because I don't watch NXT Level Up or any of those, extra shows that they have. I haven't seen any of those. So this was my introduction today to Dion Lennox. And I thought, okay, they're building him as like this heartthrob, but not in a way that you would think a traditional heartthrob is, right? Because a traditional heartthrob is like cool, wild hair, right? Rides a motorcycle. That's a heartthrob. No, they're building him more so as this nerd. I hate to say it like that, but they're building him like he's nerdy, right? He comes out, he's got his glasses, and that's literally it. Like, that's it. Like, it's just the glasses. I don't know. The point is that they're making him seem like, he's, this very, heartthrob nerdy guy. And all of the girls are liking him and they're making sure to show that he's a very handsome guy. But this was kind of fun. I did like this little match here. I thought that Ashanti looked good in this, got the win. I thought both guys looked good in this. Again, with this being my introduction to Dion.
I agree. Like, this is my first time seeing Dion Lennox as well, too. You said, too, the nerd thing, I think it's funny. He's wearing glasses. Like, literally, like, wearing glasses, like, it's literally like he has this whole, can you hold my pocket protector while I wrestle? Like, he has that kind of, like, vibe, which is very funny to me.
He doesn't have that vibe to me, though. When I saw him, I thought, take off the glasses. I mean, I don't mean to be mean, but it doesn't fit him. I feel like this comes across. You were talking about the Tony D'Angelo character coming off as something that's not really too believable. That's how I feel about Dion Lennox just randomly coming out with some glasses.
Like, he just found them backstage and put them on. Like, you can tell he didn't come up there with them. And
yes, I'm sorry, but that's how I felt. I thought this was, I get what they were trying to do, but I don't know. I guess I have a different vision of Dion Lennox or what Dion Lennox can be.
I can get it. I can understand too, because I went with the nerd gimmick. I knew what they were doing and going with though. I know they wanted him to have the whole hold my pocket protector type thing though. But like you said again, too, it's like when you take the glasses off, you can tell you don't wear the glasses in real life. Like, you guys, he doesn't. But I guess is what they're going with. They're going for it. It was a good showing. He reminded me of like Jason Jordan in the ring a little bit, like from a few years back. Yeah, he has he has like a Maven like look, pretty pretty boy look. I was very excited to see Ashanti the Adonis wrestle as much as he did because this is the first time I really see him do much of anything. Like, because I wasn't in the hit row like that before. I wasn't really into it that much. And I never really saw him that much on SmackDown. So seeing him wrestle and get a win, I was very surprised by. But like you said too, from this, I know he's somebody that they have built for the future. But right now, it was it was cool. It was all right. But just while we're here, by the way, I just want to bring up the fact too that I mean, like, it's not like if he was like a real fighter, very credible in the ring, like a former like champion, I'd be into it though. Even more into it if you had interviewed that person. Speaking of interviews, did you guys know that Denise Salcedo has an interview with Ronda Rousey right now? You guys should check that out. It is an amazing interview. You know who else has one? Chris Van Vliet, but Denise came out first. So I just want to point that out real quick. I just want to point that out real quick. I love Chris too, but I just want to point out that Denise came out first. It was out first though, so please go check it out. It's on right now. Just please go up there. Please don't be a dick. Give it a click, okay? Just going out there real quick though. It's a great interview. It's hard to get interviews with Ronda Rousey, so I feel there's a lot of work going there though. So please go out there and share that interview, guys. Please.
Thank you so much, Chindedu. And yes, guys, check out that interview with Ronda Rousey. It's a lot of fun. And I think that, I don't know, it's always, I think you always get a different look at people when you're chatting with them on interviews. For everybody. This goes for everybody. You just get a different, side of them. So yeah, check it out. Alrighty. And I think that's kind of about it for NXT here today. But wow, we are on our way to NXT No Mercy. We got another super chat. This is actually from Matt Logan, who says, as far as debut runner of Ricky Starks is picking up. So I saw, by the way, that there is a lot of people, talking about this rumor. How do I say this? It's not true, guys. Like that rumor, really do not believe that rumor. That's all I can say. Do not really believe that rumor. But I mean, I can't come out and be like, oh, this is for sure false. But I just don't believe in this rumor. That's it.
Yeah.
And I don't think people should get their hopes up.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, I think Ricky Starks has a lot of time left on his contract with AEW, I think. And I mean, it'll be great to see him over in the WWE though. But like I said, I think he got a good while on his contract left. So, and I don't think Tony's gonna release him, especially after what happened with William Regal. He ain't gonna fall for that again. You staying right here, man. Yeah.
So of course, these stuff are always going to happen. It's going to get people excited. And, things like this are always going to happen. I know a lot of people want to see Ricky Starks in WWE. Sure, I want to see it too. I'd be very excited. But yeah, I still think he's going to be with AEW for a little bit more. Thank you so much to Matt Logan, though, for sending in this super chat. Much appreciated, man. But I did see a couple of people, talking about that on the chat. But I wanted to just put that out there. But anyways, alrighty, everybody. That was NXT for today. As always, thank you guys so freaking much for all of your support. I mentioned all of the stuff that we got coming up this week. These next 2 weeks are going to be very, very a lot going on in the world of wrestling since we got 2 big major events, All In and Bash in Berlin. So there's going to be a lot of exciting stuff. Chinedu, what do you got going on?
Well, my upcoming show, Life Laughter is for Everybody, is very excited about that. If you are in the Houston area, the Houston surrounding area, get your tickets now at ChineduOgu.com. It is my biggest show ever. We have over 300 tickets already sold, so I'm very excited. That's that first entire section right there. It's already guaranteed to be full. We got a month left. I'm excited about the show. Get your tickets now. Great sponsors as well. I'm also on Merit Street Media every week. You can catch me on the #1 sports show of the CBS affiliate, Sports Extra, the #1 morning show, H-Town Rush. You can also catch me on tour. After my September show, I will be back on tour, guys. So if you are in the Texas area or across the South, San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, El Paso, the Valley, Atlanta, Miami, New Orleans, and Phoenix, I will be back out on the road this fall. Tickets will be available soon. Other than that, please, guys, watch the content on Salcedo's page. You literally, the best way to do it, play all and just have it on the background when you go to work. All right, that's the best thing to do.
I love that.
Play all, watch all the stuff. It's good background content as well. You listen to it, it's great entertainment. Good interviews up right now with Fluffy, Ronda Rousey, the SummerSlam reviews, all this great stuff. And she's going to Berlin next week. You got great stuff on the horizon, guys. So be sure to check out the content and support it.
Thank you so much, Chindedu. And thank you to everybody who tuned in to the show. Thank you guys so much. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye, everyone.